Opened in 1960 by Bruton Smith and NASCAR driving legend Curtis Turner. With the running of the longest stock car race in history, the World's 600, the Charlotte Motor Speedway closed before it would ultimately become a home track of so many NASCAR teams. Just a year after the first race, the 1.5-mile oval track was in bankruptcy, done in by a huge infield rock formation that ballooned construction costs far beyond what its two founders had forecast. Almost 60 years later, nearly everything is different. More than 94,000 seats ring the racetrack, which was the first super speedway to install lights for night racing, the first track to incorporate a condominium apartment complex overlooking the racing surface, the first to build an office complex with the same view, the first racetrack to sell naming rights, and the first to open a year-round club where members can spectate during races and socialize with fellow club members at other times. Everything is different from 1960, except for one thing. Charlotte Motor Speedway still owned by the Smith family. These days, Charlotte Motor Speedway is the queen of the SMI empire, with the legendary Humpy Wheeler managing the day-to-day operations and promoting the races with flair and imagination. The track became one of the most successful in the world. Tonight, it's the DEP Graphics Truck Series GOATS 180, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Concord, North Carolina, the Charlotte Motor Speedway for tonight's GOATS 180, part of the DEP Graphics Truck Series as this season winds down. It is the penultimate race. One more to go after this before we settle a champion here in this truck series. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. A couple of minutes remain, so let's jump down and see where everybody is lining out as far as their times in the session are concerned. Top on the board, it is Zach Millett, 30.41 seconds. Second fast, it's Alfie Charon, a 30.43, and then Brian Rose, a 30.44. Things picking up where they left off from last week. Brian Rose, of course, taking the checkered flag out at Loudon, New Hampshire. I think it was Millett running P2, and then Alfie Charon was third. Those three drivers atop of the standings here in practice. Again, it is the GOATS 180. Gotta really shout out to the GOATs, the 5, the 13, the 19, and the 20 that are in this race here tonight. They've stepped up and sponsored a bunch of races here this season in the Numb Racing League, the DEP Graphics Truck Series. Certainly do appreciate their contribution to this particular league. Tom says, Steve, tonight let's hear 10 different ways to say your leader, Zach Millett. I'll do my best. I don't know if I can get to 10, but we're going to try, that's for sure. You never know, though. Fluffy Charon, otherwise known as Alfie Charon. He might be up there out front, too. You never know. Brian Rose, of course, his win last week at New Hampshire. May see him out in front. The 55 of Robert Chipman Jr.'s quick, a top 5 time for him, a 30.46, and Double O Joe Bennett, 30.48. Expect Derek Welch to be quick here tonight as well. Looks like we got a 21 truck field here tonight, so that'll be nice. We got the Puppet Master in the stream chat, otherwise known as Brian Boyd. I was just thinking about you the other day, Brian. I was knocking on wood because I haven't had any internet-related issues as of late, but thanks for checking in, Brian. Got to give a shout-out to Brian helping us here at HBR TV. Really, some time ago, we were having a lot of problems with dropping the stream and having issues with internet and networks and things like that. Brian was kind enough to offer his services and walk us through some troubleshooting, and we kind of got to the bottom of it. We didn't really have an issue with the internet per se. It was more my hardware, but we've got everything in tip-top shape now, and things are good to go. And that's that. Practice is over. We'll jump right into the qualifying session. Who goes first? Looks like Dylan Bryant might be the first one to roll. Indeed it is. It is the 08. Nice and simple. Just a jet black Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Nice. Puppet Master, otherwise again known as Brian Boyd in the stream chat, says he'll be running the Numb Racing League next-gen car starting on the 22nd. Unfortunately, Brian, I mean, I'm glad you're here regardless, but that's going to be a AAA broadcasting race. They cover the majority of the races here at Numb Racing League. We've got the trucks for now. Might pick up another one, we shall see. But in the meantime, we wish you the best of luck over there in the next-gen Cup Series. Numb Racing, it's certainly going to be a fun one to watch as Bryant goes his first lap, a 30.61. As per the norm, having a little bit of a overlay issue here. It's showing times from practice. Let's try and load this up one more time. There we go. Bryant still fastest, 30.51. Coleman is second, 0.3 back. Ryan Rose about to take the green flag to start his lap, or two for that matter. Brian says, 10-4, man. Stoked to see you're doing well above all. Same for you, Brian. Good to hear from you, man. Certainly don't be a stranger. You know where to find me. Again, Brian Rose, your race winner from last week at Loudon, New Hampshire, a track he despises, but somehow it's been managing to pull out a couple of wins there, not just here in Numb Thumbs, but Scar last season. Is Bryant maintaining the top spot here? Let's see where Brian Rose locks himself in. Crosses the stripe for lap 1. Fourth quick, 30.61 goes Brian Rose. That was lap 2. Paul Ferdiani finishing up his lap. Russ Kilgore just leaving pit lane, the number 7 Ortho machine. While we continue to follow qualifying here, let's take a quick look at the point standings coming into tonight. Of course, Zach Millett, Larry Dickerson, Chris Klein, your top 3 playoff drivers. Blaine Woodruff, Joe Bennett, Vincent Short, who I believe is absent here tonight. Tough break for Vincent. He's going to lose some ground. Paul Durkee, Justin Lawson, Rob Chipman Jr., Jeff Ottinger, Brandon Coleman, Brian Rose, your top 12. Again, Brian coming in here as the final spot in the standings from his win last week at New Hampshire. Kilgore across the stripe, 31.223. Decent caliber, not the best lap time. We'll see if Kilgore can pick up here on lap 2. Derek Welch slots in 4th quick, a 30.57. Bryant still top of the board. Fast time, 30.51. Kilgore just barely off the safer barrier out of 4. Crosses the stripe. 4th quick, 30.576. Kilgore picks it up big time. Zach Millett now on the Speedway. Fastest in the practice session. Again, we'll take a look at those results. 30.411 was the time for Millett. First lap, a 30.82. First time by a 30.82. That's pretty stout for the first lap around. Seems that lap 2 does tend to be the quicker of them. Dickerson goes P7, a 30.61. Out of 4, across the stripe into the dogleg. 315 across the line here. Where does he land? P1, 30.408, improves his time over practice by just about half a tenth. Millett goes to the point. Alfie Charon on the racetrack here. First lap for Alfie, a 30.65. That's much faster than Millett was his first time by. Let's see if Alfie's got anything for him. Millett on the pole currently by just over 1/10 of a second. Alfie Charon, a contender, see if he can put the 78 machine on the point here, or at least maybe on the front row. Lap 2 at the line. Charon goes P2, 30.473. Quick time, almost knocked off Millett. Not quite close enough, 0.07 of a second shy. He's going to put himself outside front row. Looks to be that's everybody. Mark Collins, so far the only driver not to take a time in the session. That may be by design. Might be here as an admin, might just be opting to start in the back, but either way, looks like a 20-truck field here tonight. 7 minutes of the 10-minute session just about complete. We're going to step aside and get a break out of the way and get a word from some of these sponsors. We'll be back after this.
where that baby of mine? Well, I just don't know. Have mercy, brother.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the GOAT's 180 DEP Graphics Truck Series. Let's take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 30.408 seconds, it's Zach Millett. Outside front row, just about half a tenth slow, it's Fluffy Chair in the number 78. Dylan Bryant, the 08, starts third. Mike Adamson will start from the fourth position. Chris Klein will start in the fifth spot, with Russ Kilgore rolling off from position number 6. Seventh goes to Derek Welch. Eighth position, Rob Chipman Jr. Larry Dickerson rolls the number 69 from P9. Brian Rose didn't really back up his practice time. He'll start 10th. 11th goes to Brandon Coleman. 12th, Scott Milner. Albert Anderson, P13. Justin Lawson, 14th. Jeff Ottinger rolls from the 15th spot. Blaine Woodruff, 16th. Paul Ferdiani is going to get 17th here. 18th goes to Double O Joe Bennett in the 00. Tony Polk with Wicked Loose Racing starts 19th. Paul Durkee will roll 20th. And Mark Collins credited starting with the 21st position. It's your starting grid here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Field already working turns 3 and 4 here, getting ready to go under the green flag here in just a moment for 120 laps here from Concord, North Carolina. Pace car pulls off down pit lane already.
Be ready, green flag.
Green flag waves, we're underway. To the early lead, building a 0.3 of a second gap back to the 78 of Alfie Sharon. The 08 of Dylan Bryant up into P3. Mike Adamson, Chris Klein rounding out the top 5. Close quarters down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. Millett still with the advantage. Bryant taking a higher lane here with the 751 of Mike Adamson's trying to take advantage. He takes the spot away, or does he? Not quite clear as they cross the stripe. 3 laps in. Adamson, now he is clear up into the 3rd position. Dylan Bryant back to P4. Chris Klein still 5th. New colors on the 751 of Adamson this week. Running back in the 5th position. Watching a battle here in the back here. Albert Anderson in P16. Colorful number 747 this week. Just in behind the 71 of Blaine Woodruff. Tony Polk taking advantage on the bottom. He's going to take that position away. He's going to move Anderson back a couple of spots back into the 18th position. Polk taking a look under Woodruff here down into turn number 1 as well. 71 goes up to the top. That's Woodruff. The 8 is Tony Polk on the bottom. Battle for position here. Derek Welch has the 13th spot, but just behind them it's Brandon Coleman and Jeff Ottinger battling for the 14th position. Side by side again through turns 1 and 2. Ottinger on the bottom, the number 76. Coleman up top, the number 19. Big run out of turn number 2. Tucks back in behind Derek Welch. Clears the 76. Oh, contact maybe, I don't know. Welch gets real loose into 3 and 4. Chases it up the racetrack, keeps it going straight. Great save by the driver of the NTG number 1 Toyota Tundra. Opens the door for Jeff Ottinger. I'm not sure if Derek is aware of who really got into him there. I think it might have been the 19 of Coleman. Meanwhile, Coleman has lost a bunch of spots here. He's lost it to, well, Ottinger for starters, but also teammate Paul Durkee in the 13. These drivers are part of the GOATs as far as the sponsorship for tonight's race is concerned. Welch slides up the racetrack again. Didn't anticipate the 13 being down below. Has to slide it up the track. Welch back into 15th. Remember, he was 4th quick, I think it was, in the practice early on. He's got some pace behind that machine. Running order not really indicative of the speed he's got underneath the hood of that NTG truck. Brian Rose battling with the 69 of Larry Dickerson. Rose up top, Dickerson down low. The number 69 is the machine of Larry Dickerson. Brian Rose, HBRShops.com F-150. Still side by side. Dickerson slides up, but he's not clear. Oh, really pushing up the racetrack. Inches between the 89 and the 69. Dickerson finally clears Brian Rose. Now Rose slips back to 9th. Remember, he started 10th. Not a great qualifying effort tonight for the number 89 of Rose. Was up a couple of spots. He's now lost this one here to Dickerson. Coleman closing back in on teammate Paul Durkee. And we got Vincent Short in the stream chat, says go HBR. Tough break, didn't have Vincent here tonight. He's still in contention for the championship standings, but Vince's unable to make it. I tell you, Brandon Coleman looking awfully stout. To the outside of Paul Durkee. Coleman takes the position away. Coleman up into P15. Zach Millett still the tip of the spear. Full second ahead of Alfie Charon. And the 751 of Mike Adamson, Dylan Bryant, Chris Klein. The top 5 unchanged. Vincent Short says, I figured I'd let that S4 guy win for once. Yeah. For once. I think Zach's had enough wins this season. Larry Dickerson still running in the 8th position, just ahead of Brian Rose. Rose not really giving up a whole lot of ground between himself and the 69. I think he's just content riding in the tire tracks here. Maybe try to learn something. Brian Rose is quick just about everywhere we go, but he's certainly not too good to not try and learn something from somebody who might be running in front of him. Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Dickerson still with the advantage, about 2 truck lengths back to the 89 of Brian Rose. Speaking of Brian's, we got Brian Boyd in the stream chat again. It says nothing better than watching some good racing while working. I don't know if your employer would think that's a good thing, but either way, Brian, we're glad you're here. We certainly do appreciate it. 16 laps in here from Charlotte. Millett still out in front. Then it's Charon, Bryant, Adamson, Klein. Dickerson no longer enjoying as much of a gap as he had. Rose is close right to the tailgate of that number 69 machine. I guess the question really is how aggressive does Brian Rose want to be this early on in the race? About 17 laps in here. You don't want to push the issue too much. No stage breaks here in the Numb Racing League. Last lap is the only one that really, truly matters. Hanging tough though. Meanwhile, Dickerson's going to make a move here on Robert Chipman Jr., the 55 machine, that blue truck up the top side. Dickerson trying to take that spot away. That would be P7. Brian Rose is going to try and follow him on through down the backstretch into 3. Brian Rose has position on the 55. Dickerson up the racetrack. Rose all the way down to the bottom. Left side is just a tick below that blue line. It's still legal, but you run the risk. Meanwhile, we got a battle for the second spot. Dylan Bryant underneath Alfie Charon. Dylan has certainly shown some speed at times here throughout the season. We're seeing it right now, side by side for position. The second spot down into turn number 3. Bryant on the bottom. No sponsors on that truck. If anybody's looking for someone to support, you know, way to Bryant making a move towards the front here, takes over the second spot. Alfie's going to cross over, try and take it back. Had the run out of turn 4. He gets alongside into 1, slides up a bit, no contact. Bryant up the racetrack is going to have the run out of turn 2. He'll win the race down the backstretch. Then it's Charon, Mike Adamson, Chris Klein still at the top 5, but these guys have all closed down the deficit while the 78 and the 08 continue to battle for position. Nelfi has recognized this now. He's backed off the fight from the 08. About 2, 3, 4 car lengths between himself and Bryant. Now he's going to fend off the 751 of Mike Adamson. Chris Klein might have gotten a piece of the safer barrier on entry to 3. Trying to straighten out that corner as best that he can. Alfie Charon about to lose P3 here to Adamson though. Adamson looking low. For now, it looks like Alfie's successfully defended that position in P3, but Chris Klein, now he's attacking here on Mike Adamson. This will be for the 4th spot. Adamson's going to quickly slip back to P5. Klein will jump up into 4th. Zach Millett still leading the charge here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 26 laps in, he's led them all, enjoying a 1.5 second advantage over the 08 of Dylan Bryant. Last lap for Bryant, a 32.37. It was indeed faster than Zach Millett. Millett ran a 32.42. Have to keep an eye on that deficit to see if it starts to shrink. It's 1.57 seconds, and it's holding pretty consistently back to P2. Gained some ground into turns 1 and 2, about half a tenth or so. Meanwhile, Mike Adamson down pit lane. This seems like an early stop. I could be wrong. Looks rather routine. Drivers do have 4 sets of tires over the wall and a 70% fuel capacity. This could just be a strategy move here for the 751 of Adamson here. Try to undercut the leaders. Paul Ferdiani on pit lane here having some troubles as well. Right side damage on the 33. Ferdiani running the Iron City beer paint scheme. I believe that is a Pittsburgh beer. Paul down and away, not doing a whole lot to address the right side damage. Left side damage as well. Might have been pushed up into the wall, we don't know. Well, Justin Lawson into pit lane. He has to back it up, misses the pit box. Another beer sponsor, another Pennsylvania beer sponsor, Yinling on the side of that machine. Also some damage on the 20. Lawson an extended stay in the pit lane, possibly a speeding penalty on entry. Scott Milner, on the other hand, he's down pit lane. We did get the word that 28 to 34 laps was going to be about the fuel distance on that first round of pit stops. We're kind of in that territory right now, 32 laps in. Some drivers opting to pit lap 26, 27, 28. Scott Milner down and away. Meanwhile, Millett still out in front. Millett saving some fuel. You can already hear him out of the throttle into turns 1 and 2. See if he does it again into 3 and 4. Yep. On the clutch. Just coasting down into the corner, back in the throttle. Check turn 1 again. There you go. Lift and coast. So Millett's still out in front, but he has certainly lifted enough here to lose some of that advantage over the 08 of Bryant. It was 1.57 seconds a handful of laps ago. Now it's just over 1 second, giving up about 30% of that advantage over the 08, but the advantage that he's gaining here, we're clicking off lap 35. The fuel window was 28 to 34. He's already exceeded that, and he's still saving fuel down into turns 1 and 2. Paul Durkee, Brandon Coleman, Jeff Ottinger all down pit lane. Here comes Millett down into the pits. End of lap 35 for Millett to come down pit lane. Alfie Charon going to follow him down. Ryan Rose stays on the racetrack for another circuit. Millett cleanly into the pit box. Teammate Alfie Charon into his 2 HBR TV trucks. Receiving pit work. 4 tires, Sunoco Racing Fuel. Millett is down and away. Meanwhile, the 8 of Tony Polk has taken over the top spot. Brian Rose finds himself on the pit lane. As well as Dylan Bryant, Chris Klein, Larry Dickerson. Should get everybody cycled through as far as green flag stops are concerned. Rose and Dickerson leave simultaneously. They're going to take over that position over Chris Klein. Rejoin the fight. Mike Adamson, though, remember we said he did that undercut, came down lap 26. Shows you the difference in fresh tires versus old. Adamson is able to cycle himself back to the lead of this race, lap 37. With that, we're going to take an HBR TV side-by-side break. We'll be back after this. Stay with us. You won't miss a minute of the action.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco Scarza when
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we continue to watch this battle that you all saw throughout the break between Brian Rose, Larry Dickerson, Chris Klein, and Alfie Charon. Brian Rose maintaining the 5th position. Dickerson runs P6, then it's Chris Klein in 7th. Alfie runs in the 8th position, at least for now. Zach Millett has taken over the top spot over the 751 of Adamson, enjoying a 3.4.5 second advantage over the 751 here, 46 laps in. Again, knocking on wood here, still yet to see the caution flag fly tonight. That is a good thing. Dickerson now stuck on the outside. Alfie's working his way up alongside, taking the spot from Chris Klein. Alfie, the 78. Now looking to the inside of Brian Rose on for position. This would be for P5. Tucks in behind. Little bit of a shuffle here, trying to get around a lap truck. Derek Welch out of this one here. He says he's made his entrance and he's gone. Derek Welch, the league admin here in the DEP Graphics Truck Series. Once in a while, you'll see the one truck make an appearance. Brian Rose maintaining the 5th spot over Alfie Charon, Larry Dickerson, Chris Klein. Paul Verdiani running back in the 17th spot. 1 lap down. First truck 1 lap down. If we get the caution, he will be the lucky dog recipient, but that remains to be seen. It's going to be a big if. Many of these leagues as of late been running almost caution-free start to finish. They don't all end up that way, but it's been pretty common as of late. While we continue to watch 5th place, 6th place, 7th place, Larry Dickerson going to the outside here on Alfie Charon. Take a moment to just mention to you guys out there in the stream, if you're all watching on YouTube, please, I don't want to say I'm begging you, but it does help. Hit that like button, the thumbs up in the stream. It helps get this live stream in front of some new eyeballs, per se. Pushes it out to a little bit wider of an audience, which is not only good for HBR TV, but also good for the Numb Racing League in the DEP Graphics Truck Series. So hit that like button, certainly helps the algorithm. Got a battle for position here. Dickerson going to the inside on Alfie Charon. This would be for the 6th spot. Gets alongside, gets clear. Dickerson now up into P6. Chris Klein's going to try and follow him on through. He might have it done here down into turn number 1. Alfie with the run, still battling back, down turn 1 and 2. Klein's got him clear, so Alfie now slips back into P8. Really, guys, I got 14 of you watching in here, and I've only got 1 like in the stream. Help us out. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Chris Klein now battling for position, trying to take it away from Larry Dickerson out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. This is for the 6th position. This the battle for the 6th spot. This the battle for the 4th spot. Brian Rose is taking it away from Russ Kilgore. Down the back straightaway, he puts 2 truck lengths on the 7 machine. Now sets his sights on the 751 off of Mike Adams. Puppet Master, you're getting all sentimental in my stream chat. In all seriousness, though, man, I do appreciate your help along the way. It really made a big difference and saved my butt a number of times. And your expertise in the world of internet and all that fun stuff certainly made things a lot easier on my end, man. So I certainly do appreciate it. Glad you're doing well as well. About 4 laps shy of halfway here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Millett still dominating over the 08 of Dylan Bryant. Mike Adamson runs 3rd. Brian Rose 4th. Russ Kilgore 5th. Brian Rose, though, challenging for that 3rd spot. Here he goes to the inside and without any effort whatsoever takes it over. About a 10-lap difference in tire life between these two, so that would explain that. Adamson wasn't just laying down. He just doesn't have the tire to keep up with the 89 of Brian Rose. Derek Welch wants to pump it up there here. I want to make a mention of it myself here. It's the 2023 Back the Blue race. Derek Welch says we've got a special race Monday honoring all the men and women wearing the badge. Albert Anderson, fellow police officer. He will be one of many that will be honored. You can only assume that Vincent Short's going to be a part of that as well. He's no longer a police officer, but he did fit that role for quite some time, so nevertheless, we'll certainly give him the pat on the back for it. Meanwhile, Brian Rose now in the 3rd position, not too far ahead, maybe a truck length, truck and a half over the 69 of Larry Dickerson. Dylan Bryant still running in P2. Man, that deficit just growing and growing every lap. 5.68 seconds, the advantage that Millett has over 2nd place running Bryant. Back to the stream chat. Got Chuck Keeger. Says, I won't run my normal Krispy Kreme 22 paint scheme. Brian Boyd, the Puppet Master, says, I'll be racing, but I was not a law enforcement officer. That's okay. Brian was a member of the armed services, I believe. One of our veterans. Brian Rose still maintaining that 3rd spot. Gets a piece of the wall out of turn number 2. Wall riding it down the backstretch. He's going to lose a couple of spots here. Larry Dickerson, Chris Klein, Russ Kilgore, 3 drivers making their way around. Kilgore up in the fence as well. Brian's going to take the spot back with the mishap from the 7. Rose goes from P3 to 5th after making contact with a safer barrier exiting turn number 2. Lost a couple of spots. So we are just now past the halfway point here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. First round of pits, second round of pit stops about to unfold here. Brian Rose is going to peel it off the racetrack here after getting into the fence. Locks down the rear brakes into pit lane. Right side's in the air for Brian Rose. It's going to be 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel for the number 89 F-150 HBRShops.com machine. We saw this work out for Adamson to get some laps led previously. We'll see if it pays off for Brian Rose being the first to hit pit lane out of the undercut. Puppet Master Brian Boyd again in the stream chat says, yes, sir, 101st, baby. Again, Brian, thanks for your service. Much appreciated. Paul Ferdiani scrapes the outside wall off at turn number 2. Continues on. Russ Kilgore now in the pit lane. So we've gone just about 2 complete cycles of green flag stops here without a caution. And knocking on wood here, we don't want to go too crazy. We don't want to have another caution to deal with. We don't want to have a big one or that sort of thing. We want as many drivers as possible here in contention to win this. But right now, it seems like Zach Millett is checking out on the field. He's got a 6.8 second advantage over the 08 of Dylan Bryant. Jeff Ottinger down pit lane and out. As it sits right now, the top 9 trucks, your lead lap machines, Mike Adamson in 10th. Your first truck 1 lap down will be the recipient of the lucky dog if we get a caution in this instance. Of course, looks like the top 9 drivers or so still need to make a pit stop. Millett came down at lap 35, so you could see him stretch it as long as to lap 70. Let's ride on board and see if he's saving fuel again. Millett stays in the throttle this time. Up at the end of that first green flag run, Millett was saving fuel quite a bit for turns 1 and 2. Really all the corners, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The only time he wasn't doing it was through the dog leg. All right, Brian. He's got the work call. He's got to go. Thanks for stopping in, man. We really do appreciate it. Good to hear from you. Still right on board with Zach Millett. Green flag stop number 2 approaching. Brandon Coleman going to the outside here with some fresher tires around Zach Millett. Millett still with a 7.5 second advantage over the 08 of Bryant. I don't know if Zach maybe has saved that fuel earlier on in the run. Fast approaching lap 70 here, which I would expect to see him down pit lane here momentarily. Here he comes, Millett off the turn 4 banking, locks him up coming down to pit lane. Good thing he's changing those Goodyears. Millett into pit box. Once again, going to be 4 tires in Sunoco Racing fuel for the 315 of Zach Millett. Down and away he goes. Clean entry, clean exit for Zach Millett. 15.08 seconds. Not the best stop in the world. Dylan Bryant went a 14.82. Millett rejoins the race. Larry Dickerson now takes over the top spot. Bryant also now down pit lane. Maybe this is his second stop. It is his second stop. 1482 was pit stop 1. Bryant down and away. Faster stop, 14.75. Much faster stop than Zach Millett. Dickerson now down into pit lane from the race lead. Remember, only 11 trucks on the lead lap presently. 12 if you count Milner right now. Dickerson in his box, 4 tires and fuel as well for the number 69 truck. Dickerson down and away. A little bit too much wheel spin on exit. So through that cycle, Millett still has cycled back to the point. Adamson runs P2, 1.8 seconds back. We're at lap 74 here from Charlotte. We're going to step aside here once again here and go HBR TV side by side. So stay with us. You won't miss a moment. Just my lovely voice. We'll be back after this. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 82 laps complete of 120. Zach Millett still out in front. Bryant 10.8 seconds in the rears. A lot of work to do for the 08. He's going to catch Zach Millett. Got Josh Kelleher in the stream chats as I hit the like button and smashed the subscribe link. Love from the 73 Racing Team, Misfits Motorsports, and Skunkle Josh. Josh, I do appreciate it. Thanks for chiming in and hitting that like button. One truck up in the fence there just a bit. That might have been Ferdiani again. Battle for position, P4 that is. Brian Rose has it. Chris Klein trying to take it away side by side through the dog leg down into turn number 1. Klein has position on Brian Rose, easily takes the spot away. Now the difference between these two, Chris Klein pit at lap 70, Brian Rose pit at lap 61, so a 9-lap difference in tire life between these two trucks. It's no wonder Klein was able to make short work of Brian Rose. Definitely have to say thank you guys for jumping in there and hitting that like button. I got more likes than I got streamers right now, or at least stream watchers. So definitely, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Rose now running in the 5th spot. You see how far Chris Klein has stretched that advantage over the 89 truck. Russ Kilgore in the 6th position behind Brian, just 2 laps fresher tires than the 89. Don't know if that's really going to come into play or not. Larry Dickerson running in P7. His tires lap 72 versus lap 61 of Brian Rose. So if this stays green, which so far it seems that's the way it's going to go, Larry Dickerson's going to certainly cut into Russ Kilgore's advantage, and then the same can be said here to Brian Rose. I would anticipate Larry Dickerson here as he takes the spot from Russ Kilgore. We'll be knocking on the door of Brian Rose here momentarily for that 5th position. Digging a little deeper here, I think Josh Kelleher, that name does sound familiar. Not 100% sure, but I think Josh has run some races here in the Numb Racing League, if not a different league that HBR TV has broadcast. Certainly sounds familiar. Let us know, Josh. As we expected, Larry Dickerson closing the gap quickly on Brian Rose. Just like that, Dickerson takes over the 5th spot. We saw it coming. "31 laps to go here from Charlotte. Zach Millett and the Halder Boys Racing TV Chevy Silverado well in command of this race. Even through the green flag pit cycles, hasn't really given up a whole lot as far as laps led. Pit stop wise, looking at the consistency here, Millett came down at lap 35, then came down at lap 70. So if everything stays consistent the way that it has been, Millett, we should expect to see him about lap 104, 105, and that would be more than enough to get him to the finish of this race. Meanwhile, Albert Anderson in the pit lane. Mike Adamson also in pit lane. Mike's been doing this most of the night, trying the undercut, trying to pick up as much track position as possible simply by the better pace that those new tires provide. Jeff Hodger down pit lane as well, number 76 F-150. A little bit of right side damage, but just a little bit of a pancake on the right side. He does fix it, looks like, with the fast repair as we've gotten into the latter third of this afternoon's race. So Millett still out in front, 11.8 seconds over the 08 machine of Dylan Bryant. Truthfully, where Millett is right now, he certainly has the pace on the field. He's got a very good cushion of space between himself and P2 at almost 12 seconds. He's within the pit window. He could pit right now and make it to the finish. I think it's just a matter of, do I save enough here for a green-white checkered finish? Because again, a lot of these guys are trying that undercut. I don't know if they're going to gain 11 seconds. That's almost a third of a lap. Bill, it's kind of in the catbird seat here, in command of this race. Kind of pull whatever strategy he wants to at this point. 25 laps to go. Millett still in the lead. Bryant now down pit lane. So is Chris Klein and Dickerson. Rose jumps back up into P3. Kilgore fourth. Rose now P2. Little connection issue for Mike Adamson for a brief moment. Millett off turn number 2, 24 laps to go. He can really pit at any point here. Lap 96 approaching 97. Again, he can go as deep as 105. If he stays on the same strategy he's been working all night long. Trunk of Paul Durkee taking a spot, puts himself back on the lead lap. As it stands right now, Millett has a 1 lap advantage plus over the rest of the field. Again, he still needs to make one more pit stop. But if I'm Zach Millett, I'm going to wait until the very last possible second to come down pit lane. If the caution were to come out right now, Zach Millett would be on the lap of his own, but no, he's coming down right now. Millett Off of turn 4, down into pit lane here, down to pit road speed. 22 coming to 21 laps to go. Millett comes down as the race leader and on his own lap. Tell you, if I was Zach Millett, I might have waited just a few more laps, at least to get to that 104, 105 mark. It's going 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel for that S4 guy. Jack is down, off and away. Zach Millett rejoins this race. Still as the race leader with 21 to go, coming back up to speed. He's got a pretty significant advantage over P2. Remember, he came down as the race leader with a full lap advantage. Bryant closing the gap here. It's 10, 9, coming to 8 seconds the advantage, but Millett now back up to speed with fresh tires. Bryant's pit stop came at lap 95, so Millett's got 4 lap fresher tires as his stop came at lap 99. Deficit with 20 to go, 6.8 seconds back to the 08 of Dylan Bryant. Dylan Bryant running second. Kind of all by his lonesome, nobody challenging him out the back. Mike Adamson, we talked about him. He worked the undercut during his pit stop, came down early, got the fresh tires, got the track position because of it. His pit stop came to lap 91. Larry Dickerson now running in the 16th position here, again battling with the 55 of Rob Chipman Jr. Not for position. Chipman running in the 11th, I'm sorry, the 13th position. Adamson in behind these two. He runs P3, lead lap. Millett still out in front, and just like that, he started to stretch his advantage over the 08 of Bryant. It's almost 8 seconds. Millett just running away here. He can just cruise all the way to the finish, and I believe he still has a set of tires left over the wall. For the last pit stop he made here, took his 3rd set of tires, though there is 4 sets allocated for tonight's race. So if the caution were to come out, he's still in good shape, can bolt on another set of tires. Still 9 trucks on the lead lap. Albert Anderson, the last truck on the lead lap. 76 of Jeff Ottinger, the first truck 1 lap down, would get the lucky dog if we were to get our first caution of the night. Haven't seen it just yet. 13 laps to go here from Charlotte. Millett still in command. Healthy advantage over the 08 of Dylan Bryant. Mike Adamson still running in the third spot. Chris Klein, P4. Russ Kilgore back in the fifth position, now being pressured by Brian Rose. 12 laps to go. Kilgore started to stretch it out here. It was just a few feet between the 7 and the 89 a lap or two ago. Now it's about 5-6 car lengths back to Brian Rose in P6. Kilgore finding a new gear to try and drive away from Brian Rose. Kilgore and Rose on the same tire strategy. Both drivers coming down at lap 96 for their pit work. Millett putting Alfie Charin one lap down here with 8 laps to go. Alfie running in P7 now becomes the first truck 1 lap down in position for the lucky dog. Paul Durkee closing in. Durkee's pit stop at lap 88. Alfie's at lap 93, so likely to not be too much of a challenge from Paul Durkee. We'll see how it plays out. Dylan Bryant with some company, but it's not in the form of any kind of lead lap positional traffic. Bryant still running in the second spot. Plenty of distance back to the 751 of Adamson. It's just about 8 seconds back to P3. Double O Joe Bennett, Jeff Ottinger in behind the 08. Bryant starting to catch the 31 of Scott Milner's. We've got 6 laps to go. Mike Adamson running in P3, starting to feel some pressure out of the back window from Chris Klein in P4, the number 51 machine. 2 truck lengths off the back bumper of the 751, coming to 5 laps to go. Klein scrapes the wall off of turn number 2, keeps his foot in the throttle, loses a little bit of ground to the 751. Meanwhile, Zach Millett now extending his race lead to 13 seconds over the 08 of Dylan Bryant. Bryant unable to secure any more ground between himself and Zach Millett. In fact, the distance is just getting greater and greater lap by lap. Less than 3 to go for Zach Millett. Now Brian Rose, the last truck on the lead lap. Millet closing in on the 89 here. Two laps to go for Zach Millet. Closes down on the back bumper of Brian Rose. Rose running in P6, but this would be a lap taken away from Brian Rose if Millet can get on by. Coming down the back straightaway here, lap and a half to go. He's right there at the back bumper. Certainly not a position he needs to force by any means. Off turn number 4 into the dogleg. White flag in the air. Final lap for Zach Millet. Started tonight's race on the pole position. Certainly has led the most laps tonight. Not quite all of them. Green flag pit stop cycling through had something to do with that. All over the back bumper of Brian Rose. Doesn't want to lap the 89. They are teammates. Not going to change the outcome of this one, though. On to turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Zach Millet's going to win the GOATS 180. The penultimate race here in the DEP Graphics Truck Series, rolling into next week at Iowa. Second place is going to bring it home in Dylan Bryant, Mike Adamson P3, Chris Klein 4th, Russ Kilgore 5th, Brian Rose P6. Millet taking the road course shortcut or long cut. Zach Millet parks it here on the front stretch here. We're going to jump out, get our final break out of the way. We'll bring our top 3 finishers up at the broadcast booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Zach Millett, your race winner here in the GOATS 180. The penultimate race here in the DEP Graphics Truck Series. Next week we roll into Iowa Speedway. Well, let's pull Zach Millett in the broadcast booth. First and foremost, we'll get a word with our race winner. Zach, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You with us?
Hey, Steve, got a copy.
Zach, congratulations on a dominating performance here tonight at Charlotte. Won the pole position, led almost every lap. It was just a handful through the green flag pit cycles that you were not able to maintain that top position. But walk us through your race, the strategies you employed throughout the course of the event. Was there any shot anybody was going to catch you tonight?
Oh, yeah. Dylan Bryant there was matching my pace. In the middle of the run and towards the end of the run, and it was pretty tight there, man. I was watching lap times every single lap, so yeah, he was definitely right there. If I didn't get lucky and kind of check out in the first stint there, that was kind of everything. Once you kind of get away from everybody's draft, it's really hard to catch somebody unless you're really faster. But yeah, strategy wise, I just wanted to get out in fresh air, run my race, get on pit road fast, get off without crossing that dreaded blue line, and everything worked out, man.
Well, rolling into next week, the final race of this DEP Graphics Truck Series out at Iowa Speedway. It seems to be a type of racetrack that's right in your wheelhouse. How do you feel about Iowa next week?
Oh yeah, man, I love Iowa. It's definitely a driver's track. It's there's a couple different grooves. I believe we raced there earlier this season, and it was a hell of a race. It was tight for the top position all race long. Looking forward to it, but yeah, man, it is stressful being the last race where everything's on the line. But we've had a great season up until now anyway, so it's something to be proud of. And whatever happens, but we're gonna give it hell, man.
Would expect nothing less out of you in that 315 machine. So Zach, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Certainly good luck next week at Iowa. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I got to thank you, Steve, and HBR TV for the broadcast. As always, Numb Thumbs Gaming and the NTRL for having this league. Great bunch of guys. Look forward to it all the time. Martin Sports, HBRShops.com, HBRTV1.com, Trackbar Media, Eric Dotson State Farm, Castle Products, Fahey Race Wraps, and shoot me a follow over on Twitch at That S4 Guy.
All right, Zach. Well, again, thanks for talking to us, man. We wish you the best of luck next week.
Thanks, man.
Zach Millett, your race winner here tonight at Charlotte. Let's see if we can pull Dylan Bryant in the broadcast booth and get a word with our runner-up. Dylan, it's Steve in the booth. Are you with us?
Steve, what's going on, brother?
Not much, my friend. Just finishing up the race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where you come home second in the running to Zach Millett. Walk us through your race, strategies that you might have had in mind coming into tonight, and was there anything you could have done different to reel in Zach Millett? It seemed like your pace there late was pretty darn close to that 315 machine.
Yeah, I really didn't have a strategy, to be honest. I'm pretty decent at these bigger tracks, and I was hanging tough with them before the first pit stop, and I need to practice a little bit more at my pit stops, like at least getting onto the pit road, and I kind of just lost touch of them, and then I was like, I'm just gonna try to just save tires and manage my gap with third place, and I kind of made the race for second and third, and I knew that Michael was going to short pit because I think he was doing it the entire race. So I was like, instead of me chasing him down, I'm going to pit around the same time as him, and I just kept the gap, and I got second place. So I'm excited about it because everybody in the truck league, they're fast and stuff, and to pull off a podium and stuff, it means a lot to me.
Well, it's certainly entertaining to watch. It was an impressive run by you tonight, certainly. You had a lot of pace, practice, qualifying, even in the race. But I think you hit the nail on the head. Zach Millett, a savage trying to get down into pit lane here, uses every inch of the racetrack trying to get woed up. It's a fine line to walk, but you're absolutely right. If you can really improve your time getting into and out of the pits, you really have something for Zach Millett, because track-wise, lap-wise, you certainly had something for him as far as that was concerned. next week. Not a bigger track, so to speak, but we're out at Iowa Speedway. How do you feel about your chances out at Iowa?
The same as here. I am going to be a little bit more cautious next race because I know there's a lot on the line for 10 drivers, and at the end of the day, I'm just here for fun, so I might take it a little bit more easier and give a little extra room to the top 10 in points, and I'm trying to just log some laps, get in a little bit more practice, but I do realize that there's a championship going on, so I'm gonna just try to keep my nose clean and hopefully snag up another top 3.
Well, I'm not gonna go out and say wreck the guy, but it's a whole lot more fun to win than it is to finish second. Am I right?
Oh, right. Yeah. I think there was 20 people on the track tonight, and of those 20, everybody wants to win. I definitely do. I love to win, and I typically don't go a lot of races without winning and stuff, and it's always be nice to be reminded that you can be beaten, and that there's somebody always out there that's faster than you, and Zach's fast at every track and stuff, and personally I don't mind it. I have learned a few things from them by following them. I think I joined the truck series when the playoffs started and stuff, and I picked up a few things and stuff, and it's just not from Zach. There is other guys out there on the track that qualifies better, like my teammate Albert. He showed me a few things and stuff, and I think that helped me out tonight and stuff, and I'm just pumped to be here and be able to share a podium with people like Zach and Mike.
Well, Dylan, we certainly appreciate you being here. We're happy to have you around here, someone that's as fast like yourself, and we really look forward to hopefully you're going to be around here for the next season here in the Numb Thumbs Racing League in their truck series, and maybe put on the challenge to Zach Millett as far as the championship is concerned next season.
Yeah. I think I would have been like a top 5 championship contender if I was there from the start and stuff, and I did the Super Speedway series and stuff, and a little bit of the ARC last season with NTRL and stuff, and I love the league, and everything that Derek and all the admins do. So I'm already signed up for the Truck Series League. I think it's starting in September, so I'm pumped about that. I'm pumped about having you to broadcast that season again, and I look forward to hopefully snagging a few more interviews with you.
Well, we're certainly happy to be here, Dylan. We're happy to have you up in the top 3 for interviews. Every chance you get the opportunity to do it. So, Dylan, again, congratulations here on a runner-up finish here at Charlotte. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Well, first and foremost, Albert Anderson. A few weeks back, he started a new team. It's called All-Star Racing, and it consists of, of course, Albert, myself, Jeremiah, Larry, and Mike. So we got 2 All-Star Racing guys in the podium tonight, so I'm pumped up about that. Hopefully we can wreak havoc in the Super Speedway series and stuff. We got a strong team of five I think it is, and also Derek, all the sponsors with NTRL. Steve, you do a fantastic job with the broadcast. I love watching it. I watched it before I even joined the truck series and stuff. By far one of the best and stuff, and I look forward to next weekend. Well, next Monday, Tuesday. Sorry.
Close enough. Dylan,
yeah.
Appreciate the kind words, man. Certainly wish you the best of luck next week at Iowa. Thanks for talking to us.
All right. Have a great night.
You too. Dylan Bryant, your runner-up here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Next, we're going to pull the 751 of Mike Adamson up into the broadcast booth and get a word with Mike. Mike, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Absolutely.
Mike, congratulations, man. A top 3 finish here tonight. Working the undercut pit strategy just about all night long. You came down pit lane first comparative to the rest of the field, just about every opportunity that you had. And it cycled you back through pretty decently, got you to the point a couple of times. Walk us through your night. Was there anything else that you could have done differently, possibly, to maybe improve your finishing position here tonight at Charlotte?
No, I just didn't have that long run speed that I needed, so I figured I could, utilize the short pit strategy and try to, gain some seconds by utilizing being on fresh tires.
Well, with that, rolling into Iowa Speedway next week, certainly a much different style racetrack comparative to Charlotte Motor Speedway. I guess everybody calls it the Big Richmond. How do you feel about your chances next week, and maybe working the same pit strategy next week, try and get yourself another top 3, maybe even a win at Iowa?
I'm pretty decent at Iowa, so I don't know. We'll have to play our cards and just kind of roll the dice and see what happens. If we can get out front, we'll get out front. If not, then we'll play it by ear and see what happens. Maybe try the fuel strategy again. I've been beaten a few times by fuel strategy, so I try to do it myself and see what happens.
Certainly look forward to it next week. Again, the final race of the season here in the DEP Graphics Truck Series. Mike, you brought it home third here tonight. You've been strong all season long, man, so we wish you the best of luck next week at Iowa. But as far as tonight is concerned, who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Albert, Anderson, Dylan, Larry, all the boys at All-Star Racing. Definitely 100%. They got my back 100%. They're supportive. I thank my wife. As always, without her, I don't do what I do. So definitely want to appreciate her, and thank you guys for putting this on, and thank DW for running the league.
All right, Mike. Well, again, thanks for the kind words. I'm sure Derek appreciates it as well. He puts a lot of hard work into it to make it a successful league, and I don't know, I think he does a pretty darn good job of it. So, Mike, congratulations again on P3. We wish you the best of luck next week at Iowa.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
It was Mike Adamson, your third place finisher here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the 751, bringing it home with a top 3. Let's take a look at the rest of our race results. Take a peek at them here as they pop up on the screen. Zach Millett, Dylan Bryant, Mike Adamson, of course, we talked to. Chris Klein was P4. Russ Kilgore in the 7 brought it home in the 5th spot. Brian Rose was P6. Fluffy Charon finished in the 7th spot. Paul Durkee was 8th. Albert Anderson was 9th. Double O Joe was P10. Jeff Ottinger brought it home in the 11th spot. Rob Chipman Jr., the 55, was 12th. Brandon Coleman brought it home in the 13th position. Blaine Woodruff, your 14th place finisher. Larry Dickerson, not the finish I expected to see out of the 69. He was a challenger in that top 5 for quite some time. I don't know if Larry had a problem in the pit stop, but he finishes 15th, 2 laps down. Tony Polk was 16th. Justin Lawson, 17th. Scott Milner brought it home in the 18th position. 19th, Paul Ferdiani. 20th, Derek Welch. Out of this one early, Mark Collins did not take the green flag. He's credited with the 21st finishing position. Got to thank all you guys for tuning in tonight in the broadcast, be it in the stream chat or otherwise. We do appreciate it. Thank you guys sincerely, every one of you, for jumping in there and hitting that like button. They got 15 likes on tonight's stream. It does make a difference. I do appreciate it, and it certainly helps here at HBR TV. And again, it also helps the league with the Numb Thumbs Racing League. So thank you guys all for doing that. Thanks for tuning in, of course. And don't forget to tune in next week. And if you haven't already done so, follow us at youtube.com at HBRTV1. Check us out on the web, hbrtv1.com. You can watch the live. There's a tab up in the upper right-hand corner of the page. You can check us out there as far as the YouTube live stream is concerned. There's also a photo gallery. We've got our partners listed as well, whether it's Whiplash SimCams, Track Bar Media, hbrshops.com, and the like. Just feel free to check us out there, man. We really do appreciate all of that across the board. So thanks for watching, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for us here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Steve Singer, congratulating Zach Millett on the race win. We'll see you guys next week at Iowa.